Hey folks, welcome to the Triple T Thursday. For those just joining us, that's tools, tips, and talk. We will discuss info for the knife maker. I'm pretty excited about today's video, I gotta be honest. My buddy Rick Hall sent me a picture last week and said, what do you think about this? And it was his maker's mark in gold. And I was intrigued, and it was electroplating a maker's mark. So I thought this was the most amazing thing, and I had to get on it right away and show you guys. So today we're going to electro etch a maker's mark in nickel, copper, and 24 karat gold. Let's go check it out. So here's all the electroplating solutions that I've ordered. First, this is a cleaner to prep the metal. Then there's an acid dip, which really removes the cleaner. Then we have our nickel plating solution, which is what we're going to try first. Then we have copper, and of course, the 24 karat gold. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to attempt to do this on my laser. My laser is only a 20 watt fiber laser, so I'm going to try to etch my maker's mark as deep as I can into this. This is a hardened piece of 1084. And that I just surface ground to 400. So we're going to use this as a test piece. I also have a test piece. This is actually some copper Damascus, also been hardened and surface ground to 400. I just want to see if there's going to be any difference after I etch it to see the Damascus pattern and what that does to the different solutions, if anything. All right, let's go up to the office and hit this on the laser. Well, I can't seem to get what I want with the laser. Anytime I try to do anything with higher power, I think it's just building up scale, and it's actually, I can feel this raised. Here it's not, but if I try to do just more layers or more passes, again, it just builds up. It's like it's building up scale. So I can't get any depth that I want. So I'm going to stop playing with this. I'm going to just electro etch my maker's mark just to get through this process. But if anyone knows the proper settings for an F1 Ultra so that it doesn't do this, or why I'm getting this effect, let me know in the comments. Okay, let's talk about what you're going to need to do this. So obviously you're going to need your solutions. I've got glass bowls that I've put each of the solutions in, and you only need a tiny bit. This is probably overkill. You just need a little bit, because we're going to be dabbing this, not immersing things in it. You need a DC power supply that is pretty accurate. You're going to do this between about 2 and 4 volts, so you don't need a very powerful one, but you do need a DC power supply. We're also going to need some different anodes for these things. That's the piece that's going to be you're going to touch your workpiece with. 3 of them are stainless steel, so I just cut off a little piece of 304 stainless for each one. That's what I'm going to use them for that. For the nickel one, we need some pure nickel. I've got this sheet of nickel that I'm just going to kind of roll up into a stick, and we're going to get that done. Obviously, I got my work pieces here that I've already etched, electro etch my maker's mark. Like I said, I could not seem to get this done with the laser, but yeah, maybe in a future video, if I figure it out, I'll show you how to do it with a laser. First thing, we're going to take our little anode. We're just going to fold this little thing over here. Take one of these little rubber bands and just secure it there. And that's all there is to it. We do need rubber gloves, and this is a safety warning. Some of these are, the liquid is actually cyanide based, especially the 24 karat gold. Obviously you don't want this in your hands, you don't want it in your face or on your mouth. Use proper precautions. This stuff is very poisonous. So I'm going to be wearing gloves. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is use the cleaning solution. This is the solution here. And this needs to run with a stainless anode, and it needs to run at about 3 to 6 volts, so we're running it at 4. Let's just put it at 4.5 just to... So now we just dab a little bit of it to make sure that the stainless is getting wet. And then I've got my negative clamped to my workpiece, and I'm just going to kind of go over each one of these. And what it's doing is it's kind of cleaning off the bottom and making it a little shiny. Also, I've got this sanded to 400 grit. You probably, if you were doing this on a knife, you'd want to be on your final grit. And I'm really just hovering over the, the solution. I'm not pressing on the bottom here. I'm just kind of passing over it. And I can see that it's getting really shiny on the bottom. It's kind of cleaning off this darkness that the electroetching kind of does. Now I'm going to take some of this acid solution. I'm really just going to put it on a piece of paper towel here, and I'm going to clean off this whole surface. I did notice that there was a bit of discoloration that came from using the cleaner, but as soon as I hit it with the acid, that goes away. Now I'm just going to clean off the acid with some distilled water. Now the first one I'm going to try is the nickel. So on this one here, I'm going to use nickel. So I've got my nickel anode with my cloth here. I've got it set at 2.5 volts. And now I'm just going to do it so you guys can see this. And it is going to plate nickel all around where I'm touching, but again, we're going to be sanding off the high spots. And it does say this takes 1 to 5 minutes, so I expect this is going to take a while. Well, I can see that it's uptaking some of the nickel, but it takes a really, really long time. And I noticed that on the copper strike non-cyanide copper plating solution, the directions say is used for pre-plate or for acid copper or nickel plate. So I may have bought the wrong one, but I'm going to see what it does on this one, and I may try to do this first and the nickel after. So let's try that. And I'm going to be running this at about 2 volts. I can already see a copper color coming from this one. As you can see, it's quite copper. So let's try the nickel again and see if it plates better. So that worked a lot better. The nickel is really, really shiny in my maker's mark here. And of course, this is going to be noticeable on top of like Damascus or something after we sand it and etch. The background will be dark, but the maker's mark will stay nice and bright. All right, let's move on and do this one down here in copper. So after 5 minutes, I got it copper colored. I got a feeling if I would have actually got the copper solution, it probably would have been a deeper copper color, because really this is just a pre-plate solution. But let's move on to the gold. Okay, so let's look how we did. So this first one is hard to tell because it's really hard to see. It doesn't look so good. This one looks great. This is the pure nickel, but we treated it with the copper first. This copper also looks really good, although it doesn't look like there's as much copper as I wanted. When I went to do this one in the gold, the big maker's marks they were kind of dark in the background, and you can kind of see the gold kind of took over here but didn't over there. And I tried the copper one again. It did not take very well. So then what I decided to do is on this piece I buffed it first, and that took all the black out of the inside of the maker's mark, and the copper stuck really, really well, and the gold stuck really, really well. So let's clean these up by sanding them, and then we'll really see where we're at. So here's the results after sanding. The nickel one looks great. The copper one just doesn't have quite enough copper in it. The gold one looks okay. This one I didn't do much, and this was basically a control. So these are the ones without buffing, and let's take a look at the others. So quite a bit different. You can see it's much shinier, and then the gold one looks great. But the real key is going to be, let's etch these and then see what happens and see what they look like. So I wasn't happy with these two, so I redid them. There's the gold one. Okay, and the copper one. And what I did differently on these is I did a full cleaning, and then I did the copper strike just a little bit, and then nickel before I did the gold, and then nickel, and then went back to copper for this one. Alright, let's etch them and see what we get. So looking at our results, it looks like after the etch, most of the copper came out of this, and I think that's because the copper solution I'm using is just a pre-wash, a pre-solution, so I need to get the real copper one, and I think that'll be brighter. But the gold looks amazing. If I put it at the right angle here, you can see how nice and shiny the 24 karat gold is. It wasn't touched by the acid, and that looks amazing. So really happy with that. That's not even buffed. You can buff it gently without compounding. You'll make it shiny. But that looks really, really cool. So the nickel, which is what this one is, I love as well. The nickel is nice and shiny, and the gold. So got to get a new solution for the copper, but I'm calling this a success. I'm very excited to be able to electroplate my maker's mark and get this on some blades to make it jump out. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you on the next one.